Alright, hey guys, this is Grimlok, and I'm back with another monster video. For this one, I will be doing Nibelsnarf, who is a sandy plains exclusive monster, since he swims around in the sand, so he can't really be anywhere else. But anyway, we'll go over to the sandy areas. He usually starts out in the far northwest room. I can't recall the number of it at the moment. Let's go head over there first. It's a minor detail, but if I'm going to that room, then I usually like to head through 5 instead of the room south of here, since you don't have to take a cold drink quite yet. But that's just general little nitpicky things. So when you're fighting Nibelsnarf, you'll see these little small dunes in the sandy areas, and those are, one of them is him. It just so happens that this one is him, because this dude is breathing, as you will see. So, just come up here and give him a little poke. He'll kind of jump out, so be careful. So, hit him once or twice, but then get out of the way. So as you see, he's a big ugly sand fish. Kind of basics first is, he's weakest to ice. And then he's also got a decent weakness to poison, so I would recommend either of those. As far as weapons, I like to use longsword. Switch axe works just as well for me, but as I will tell anyone always, just use the weapon you're most comfortable with and you'll be just fine, because it always comes down to the experience instead of the weapon, really. So, you'll see he'll go under the sand a whole lot. Just make sure to keep moving. Usually sideways movements, you can see where he is, so try to sprint to the side and a little bit away from him, and you'll be able to dodge mostly all of his attacks. As far as what will break on him, you can break his hands, which are only hittable. He's kind of got 2 poses. He's got this one that he's in right now, where he's sort of like has his torso peeking out of the ground, and you have access to his hands, but then he'll frequently dig down further so that only his back is showing. You don't have access to his hands. But anyway, you can break his hands. I think they break together. I can't remember at the moment. They might break separately, but the way you can tell is they're kind of a dark blue color, and once they're broken, you'll see like some brownish indents inside of his hands. So yeah, once again, if he's under the sand like this, just keep running to the side. He usually will not hit. Other breakable parts is, you can't really see right now, but if you look just over to the side of what's kind of like his head/face, this purple area right here, those are kind of like his gills. He will expose those in a couple different instances. The main time that you will really have access to those is when he's hungry. Obviously, he'll let them out. You want to hit those as much as possible. They don't take too much to break, though. Usually I focus on his hands until that point. As with any monster, try to stay to his side. He's got most of his attacks directly in front of him, but he also has an attack behind him where he kind of releases an air blast, so I prefer to try to stay at his sides at all time, not in front of him, not behind him. There's not much reason to be behind him anyway, seeing as how he's not really weak behind himself. So, yeah, just try to stay at his sides. That's an attack to look out for, right in front of him, because if you see him kind of inhaling a lot, he will do that big sand blast. And he also has a turn to look out for. This is his weakest point, is if you get him to fall over like that, you absolutely want to attack that first. And then if you get him stunned like this, you can actually shoot your weapon and hit A, and you can fish him out of the ground. This is when he's most screwed. He's on his back like this. Just have tons of time to do tons of damage to him. So I'll sit well on him a little bit here. He's struggling because it takes him a while to get back into the sand. And he'll just pop back up over here. So at this point, I believe you guys have seen most of his attacks. As always, just stay out in front of him, stay out from behind him. He'll take you by surprise if you get there. He just digs down and comes out. If you keep on sprinting to the side, like I was not, then that will usually not hit you, so you can usually be pretty safe about it. One cool thing you can do that I actually don't have the supplies for now, but if you have a large barrel bomb, then when he's doing this move right here, you can actually set the large barrel bomb down on the ground before he makes a pass towards you, and when he comes at you, you can lead him into that barrel bomb and he'll swallow it, and then kind of once he finishes his pass, he'll turn around and that barrel bomb will explode within his mouth, and that'll also knock him about in the sand and give you a good opportunity to hit him. So you can see here, or he showed it for a second, I've broken his hands, and you can see kind of like a little tan, orange, or brown chip like in his hands, so that means that I've broken them. And he's out of stamina, so you see his pink gills kind of sticking out like that, so I'm going to be focusing those next, trying to break those. So he's come here to eat, and he'll eat these monopolies, so this is where you'll get a good opportunity to do some nice damage to him. So I'll just be working on his gill things here. Alright, there they go, see, only 2 minutes. And that's actually the same with his uvula. If you noticed earlier, I broke it all into one opportunity that I had to deal damage. It only took a few hits. This actually reminds me of one thing he'll do. You are safest at his side, but you're still not completely safe at his side. He has a lot of attacks from the front and a lot of attacks from behind, but as with most monsters that have, you know, turning animations before their next attack, his has a turning animation that's similar to Gobule, where he'll do a turning bite. So you want to make sure that if he's about to turn and do his next attack, then you probably want to be on your way out from his side and moving towards his backside, really, so that when he turns, if he does that bite, then you'll already be at his side and he won't hit you with his bite. So that's one thing that's actually really annoying about him, and I'm surprised he hasn't done it yet, really, at all. But in any case, I think you guys have seen most of the fight at this point. I think he has really many more moves. Just going through the same rotations here. Knocked him over on his side. Did enough damage to knock him so that he was stunned with his torso hanging out, and I just fish him out. One important thing to note is if you happen to forget or you don't have time to fish him out, you will want to be careful because you do have a lot of time, even on the phase right before this, to do damage. But when he recovers from that, he'll do like a big spinning attack before he gets back into the sand that will hit you if you're very close to him. That does a lot of damage, so that's one thing to be careful for him. There's that turning bite, so thankfully I had evasion distance, so I was able to stay in just a little bit longer. But if you don't have the evasion distance, or at the very least evasion, then that will catch you and it will do some damage. I can see there he goes charging again. And here he's also doing the move that I mentioned earlier, where he shoots out that sand blast, so that'll definitely get you if you're behind him, so just more reason to stay at his side. Okay, so I'm just going to continue doing the same stuff, staying at his side, sprinting away from his front. He actually has pretty good tracking when he's doing this, so I definitely want to be sprinting. I'm not going to be able to get out of the way just by normal running if he's actually targeting him. One other thing that I forgot to mention is when he's under the sand, another thing you can do, it's not as much of a weak point as the barrel bomb trick I mentioned earlier. If he's completely submerged in the sand, you can throw a sonic bomb, and if it's close enough, then he'll track onto that sonic bomb and he'll go underneath it and do that move that he just did there where he jumps out and bites up at you. It won't really incapacitate him in any way, but it's kind of just a way to break him out of his little thing where he's swimming around and coming up from underneath you. So I'm just going to finish this fight out. This one's taking a little bit longer because I decided to do a high rank monster. All of my past monsters have been the low rank monsters that tend to die a little bit quickly, so I want to let you guys get a good feel of the fight before this thing dies. Fortunately, his tail does not cut off. It's unfortunate that this is kind of the only opportunity that you would have to cut it off. This is one of the few times that it's exposed, and it's not even exposed long enough to really get any attacks on it, so it's not something you have to worry about at all. You can attack his back. It's not one of his weak points by any means, but if he's not really bringing his torso out of the ground, then that's kind of the only place you have to attack. So follow him back in here. As far as the rooms he'll go into this room. Oh, there's Devil Joe. Devil Joe is always fun to have visiting in your quest. This time, I fully intend to do a video somewhere down the road of a kill on him. Of course, he's totally going to ruin this opportunity to do some damage. Let's see if we can tunnel bomb him out of here. He ate it, so that should taste good for him. But yeah, back to I was talking about the rooms that you will usually find Nibelsnarfing is this room, the room that we were just in to the south, kind of his two main rooms that you will fight him in. The room east of here, which I think is like 8 or something, you'll find him in there every once in a while, and then finally he nests in the same room that most of the same monster nests, in that room to the south. I can't recall what the number for it is. Looks like Devil Joe is finally going to leave. So we can continue this fight. Now I believe on at least the low rank version, I've seen somewhere saying that he's actually weak on his nose to cutting damage. I usually don't bother with it because at least in G rank, maybe even not as early as high rank, his nose gains a whole lot of hardness, and so you'll start bouncing off. You never want to bounce off the front of a monster because then you're just totally open for whatever attack they want to give. So I usually focus on his side regardless of whether his nose is his weak point or not. If you're feeling a little more daring, you can try to test that out, but I tend to be a very safe player. Try to stay on the way to this, and since you'll notice that when he inhaled for such a long time, that's a good indicator that he's actually going to turn with this wind tunnel move. If he just kind of inhales for a little while, then he only shoots it straight forward, but if he spends a couple of seconds inhaling, then he'll turn towards the target who he's actually trying to hit, kind of do like a 45-degree angle, maybe even 90 degrees. The G rank one has a longer turn, so that's one thing to look out for. Alright, he's hungry again. See, now he's going to do the turning one. Get in a few hits. There's not going to be a whole lot of opportunities to hit his sides. Attack his back a little bit here. So now he's limping, so he's going to try to head towards his nesting area to the south. Just go through this next room first, which I'm sure we'll see our friend Devil Joe again. Hello, Devil Joe. Devil Joe. Yeah, see, the bite. It's kind of annoying. It doesn't deal a ton of damage, but if you let him hit you with it a few times, then it'll really start to add up, so it's something I definitely look out for. is going to rest. So I usually like to give them half a minute to a minute so they can actually fall asleep. So that, of course, once they've fallen asleep, you get about 3 times damage on your very first attack to wake them up. Sadly, Longsword doesn't really have any huge burst attack that you can do up front, but I still like to let them go to sleep just so I can get the extra damage on the overhead swing. So, you guys got to see pretty much the entire fight on that one. Yeah, I think that went pretty well. If you guys have any more questions about this fight or any other questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you have any special requests, let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find it helpful. And, feel free to join my stream at www.twitch.tv/Grimlok24. I try to stream every night, so hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.